Namaste and hello yogis. Welcome to the practice online. My name is Jonas and today's student of mine is a dear friend Renee, who is visiting right now. And maybe you know that I have a professional running background, and Renee himself is a top-notch triathlete and also a great runner. And that's why I thought that this class today is going to be a yoga class for runners. And even though it's going to be specifically targeted to runners, it doesn't mean that you have to be a runner to practice it. It's going to be a solid moon class, but we will be focusing on like crucial parts and areas of the body that are relevant for runners, like hamstrings, opening the hips, strengthening the core, especially the lower back, and all of that leading up to a meditation on the breath. All right, so I would say we get started. Please come onto all fours. And if you want, you can grab a blanket for underneath your knees. All fours. So have your hands underneath your shoulders, the knees underneath your hips, and feet are untucked so that the tops of the feet can rest down into the mat. All right, and then from here, go ahead, take an inhalation without moving, and then exhale to send the hips back onto the heels. Come into child's pose. Bring the belly down to the thighs, forehead to the floor, and then inhale again to rise back up. Bring the shoulders on top of the wrists, and now tuck your toes, curl them into the mat, and then push back and up for a downward facing dog. All right. Perfect. Let's do another round of those. Inhale again to lower the knees. We're back to where we started. Untuck the feet and exhale for child's pose. Nice. Inhale, rise up, all fours. Curl the toes into the mat and exhale, downward facing dog. Still early here, warming up. Inhale, lower the knees. And we keep on practicing like this, those 3 asanas, and now adding in a breath count. So go ahead and exhale for 4 counts. 2, 3, and 4. Inhale for 4 to all fours. 2, 3, and 4. And 4 counts into downward facing dog. 2, 3, and 4. Inhale 4 counts, lower the knees. Exhale now 5 counts into child's pose. We're extending out the out breath. 4 and 5. The inhalation stays at 4 counts, so inhale for 4 to rise. 2, 3, and 4, and 5 counts into downward facing dog. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale for 4, lower the knees back down to the mat. And exhale, child's pose, this time in 6 counts. So slow down the movement even further. All right, inhale in 4. Tuck the toes, exhale 6 count, downward facing dog. And then we're gonna stay here for a few rounds of breath. So press all 10 fingers, both palms firmly into the mat. Straight spine if necessary, take a gentle bend in the knee and keep the breath moving. Don't hold it. All right, now with your next inhalation, please go ahead and lift your right leg off the mat. Bring the foot off the mat, heel to ceiling. Yes, we're engaging the back line, and then exhale to bring the knee to the chest and step your foot all the way between the hands. Perfect. So try to have your ankle underneath the knee. If you cannot get it there, use your hand. And then go ahead and rise up. come into standing and spin your left heel down. We're setting up for pyramid pose here. So the right leg is straight. Check to have your hips squared as well. So maybe bring your left foot a little bit further up here and then check the hip position. Perfect. So we're going to be moving here with one arm only, starting with the left arm. So please go ahead, bring the left arm up and bring the back of your right hand to your sacrum. All right. Inhalation here, lengthen the spine, and then exhale to fold. Keep a straight spine and fold in. Back of the neck long, lead with the heart, not with the chin, gaze slightly down. Perfect. And then inhale to rise back up. All right, let's do another one of those. Exhale, fold. If you need to take a gentle bend here in your front leg, that's totally fine. Bring the hand here. Okay, and inhale, rise up again. We're adding in a breath count again. So go ahead and exhale for 6 counts. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Inhale, come up, strong back. 2, 3, and 4. We're now going to try to build the exhalation even further. Go ahead and exhale for 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Inhale, come up in 4. And the last one, exhale for 8 counts. Fold all the way in. Feel free to release the hand down onto the block or floor. And then let's stay here for a few more rounds of breath. And let's stay with the same breath count. Let's stay with a 4 inhalation and 8 exhalation. See if you can maybe fold in a little bit further. Of course, without rounding the thoracic spine. Try to bring your navel a bit closer to your thigh. All right, so now from here we're going to move into a twist to the right side. So take your next inhalation to straighten your spine again. Lift through the front body and then exhale to open up to the right side. Stack your right shoulder onto the left shoulder. Yes, perfect. And then stay here. Your arms, one vertical line. Great. And continue to breathe. So usually runners are very, very stiff and tight around the thoracic spine. Just a little bit of mobility here. Probably as a triathlete, some swimming in there. All right, perfect. And then go ahead and inhale, lower the hand, back down, come out of the twist. Bring both of your hands down to the mat and then step back into your downward facing dog. Perfect. All right, so that was the first side. Let's now work on the other side. So when you go ahead and inhale your left leg up this time. Want to engage the back line here and then exhale, bring the knee to the chest and step the foot between the hands. Ankle underneath the knee, very nice. And then spin your right heel down and rise up to set yourself up for pyramid pose. Again, check your position, hips are squared. If possible, have the heels in one line. If not, it's okay to bring the right foot a bit further out to the right side. Left hand comes to sacrum and then inhale your right arm up. Straight spine here, broaden, opening the chest and exhale to fold. Keep the spine straight. All right, and inhale to come up. One more without a breath count, exhale, fold. Draw the navel back towards the end of the exhalation for some extra stability around the lower back. And inhale, rise. All right, let's come back to our breath count. Now exhale for 6 counts to fold. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Inhale, rise in 4, 2, 3, and 4. Exhale for 7 counts now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Inhale, come up. And the last one. Exhale for 8 counts. Draw the navel back. Slow movements into the forward fold here. If you want, if you can, release the right hand down onto a prop or the floor and just stay here for a few more rounds of breath. So keep the hips squared. This looks nice. Like I said, if you need to take a gentle bend there in the knee, that's totally fine as well. There's no need to fully straighten it. Okay, and then we're moving into the twist. Let's take an inhalation now to lengthen through the front body, to straighten the spine, and then exhale to twist to the left. Stack your left shoulder on top of the right shoulder. If you can, take your gaze up into your left palm, otherwise look straight. Great job. Okay. Next inhalation. Come out of the twist again. Gaze down, bring both of your hands down to the mat, and then step back into your downward facing dog. Okay. Now that's great here to come back to center. We were working one side before the other, so in a way asymmetrically, and here we're coming back to symmetry. All right, so we're gonna get into the next pose pretty much the same way, so please go ahead and inhale your right leg up again. Okay, and exhale, knee to chest, foot between the hands. Perfect. Again, ankle underneath the knee. And then from here, go ahead and drop your left knee down. If you want, have the blanket untuck the left foot. And we have 2 blocks here. You have to see whether you need them or you have them available at home. But we're going to move into a half split from here. So maybe you want to get the support of the blocks for your hands. Either way, from here now, slowly and carefully walk your right foot forward. Just try to straighten your leg. Again, there's no need to have it fully straightened. If you prefer to have the sole of the entire foot pressing down, do that. Otherwise, if you feel more comfortable lifting the toes so that you're only on your heels, that's fine as well. If you want, grab the blocks. And then we're going to stay here for a few rounds of breath. So over time, ease into the pose. The most important part is that you don't overdo it, that you keep the hips squared, this looks nice, and maintain a straight spine. So keep the chest open. If you want, you can close your eyes, but definitely keep your gaze soft, and then just fold in. So this is great for runners because we usually tend to have quite tight hamstrings, very tight also in the glutes and in the hip flexors. So even though the focus here is more the back line, we have a little bit of a stretch in the hip flexor there on the left side as well. All right, then let's slowly get out of the pose again. So very carefully walk your foot back. Use the hands, press them firmly into the mat, and then bring them down onto the floor if you were practicing with props. And then tuck your toes on the left side, lift the left knee off the mat, and step back into your downward facing dog. All right, and now here after this first side, feel the difference between the right and the left side. The cool thing is here right now, so we can at the same time experience the before and the after. So on the right side, you should be feeling the after, and on the left side, the before. And so let's bring this into balance. So let's practice the other side. So go ahead and inhale your left leg up now. Heel to ceiling, yes. Engaging the back line, and then exhale, bring the knee to the chest, step the foot between the hands. Once you found your position with the ankle underneath the knee, go ahead and drop the right knee down and untuck the right foot. All right, and then maybe grab your props and slowly walk your left foot forward. All right, and this probably feels a bit different than the first side. That's totally normal. All right, so remember, hip square, spine straight, chest open, chin slightly tucked, back of the neck long, maybe tuck the chin slightly more, that's perfect. And then use your long exhalations, preferably 8 counts. We've already built them to 8 counts. So use the entire length of your exhalation to ease deeper into the pose. All right, and then slowly begin to make your way out of the pose again. Carefully bring the foot back. Nice, and then hands to the mat. Tuck your toes on the right side, lift the right knee, and then step back into your downward facing dog. And now feel the difference to before. Now you have both sides of your back line equally open. Okay, and then with your next inhalation, lower the knees down to the mat. And then from here, we're going to move into the Yogic Squat. So for this one, maybe turn to the camera. And we're coming onto the feet. So if you don't have a range of motion in your ankles, then grab something for underneath your heels. We have this wonderful blanket here. Let's fold it this way. So we have a few options. So we're going to be moving into the Yogic Squat, and it is helpful to bring the feet a bit wider apart. It's helpful to turn the knees outwards, but if you still don't feel comfortable in the Yogic Squat, bring something underneath the heels. That could be a folded blanket. Otherwise, you can also fold your mat. And then find your position, and from there, just lower your sit bones down and try to bring your elbows between the knees. Bring the hands together in Anjali Mudra in front of your chest. And then we're going to stay here for a few rounds of breath. Perfect. So keep your spine again straight and really press your knees into the triceps, into the elbows. After a few rounds of breath, you will begin to feel the opening in your adductors, maybe even some warmth and heat in your lower back. And if you're super tight here, you might even feel it tomorrow. Let's do 3 more rounds of breath here. All right, and once you're done, after your last exhalation, just come, maybe if your hips are already quite low, you just sit down or sit back, but I would like to have you come onto your back. So maybe turn around again, 90 degree, and just come onto your back. Onto the back. Just lay down onto the back. Yes, perfect. All right. So to get started with the next one, feel free to hug your knees in. So take a bend in both of your knees and hug them with both hands into the chest. Yes, that's perfectly fine. Let's take a few rounds of breath here. Okay. All right, and now keep your knees and thighs together, and from here grab your big toes. Now keep them together. And grab the big toes. Yes, exactly. So right index finger and middle finger grabs the right big toe, the same on the left side. And if possible, keep your spine and head down. All right. So we have a little flow here. So to get started, take an exhalation in this position, draw the navel back, and then inhale to straighten your legs. All right. Exhale now to take your feet out wide. Open the feet. Inhale to bring the feet back together. And exhale to take the bend in the knees. Bring the knees to the chest, heels to sit bones. Perfect. That's where we started. All right, let's do a few more rounds of this. Inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale to take the feet out wide. Inhale, bring the feet together, and exhale for the bend. All right, now let's do 2 more rounds of this with our breath count. Now inhale for 4 to straighten the legs. 2, 3, and 4. Exhale for 8, slow movement. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Nice. Inhale 4, bring the feet back together. 2, 3, and 4. Exhale 8 to draw the knees into the chest. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then please do 1 more round on your own. Same breath count, and try to keep your spine long. Try to keep the sacrum down. Keep the chin slightly tucked, the back of your neck long. And last exhalation. All right. Great job. And now feel free to hug the knees in again. Okay, so our next asana is going to be a supine twist. So we'll stay in this position, but please now straighten and stretch out your left leg on. Keep the right leg in. You can still hug it into the chest, and from here we're moving into a twist over to the right side. So now extend your right arm out to the side, and then use an exhalation to guide the knee over to the left side. find the floor here, maybe find a prop. Let's use a bolster over here. Let's do it like this. Okay, perfect. Exactly. So once you found the floor here with your right leg, turn your gaze over to the right so that we have a nice twist from the navel all the way up to the crown of the head, and also work your right shoulder down into the mat. So use your exhalations to deepen the twist. So that brings some mobility again in the thoracic spine, but also for a runner, like the glutes can sometimes be a bit tighter. So we have a nice stretch here as well. And then go ahead and inhale the leg back up. If you want, hug it in again with both of your hands. Pull it into the chest. All right, and then switch your legs and stretch the right one out. Bring the left one in. We're going to do the same to the other side. So inhalation brings the knee into the chest. Exhalation, left arm stretches out to the side, and left knee comes over to the right. Left shoulder is pressing down into the mat. Left knee is working down as well. All right, and then go ahead and inhale to come back to center. Bring the knee back up. You can either hug the left knee in or you bring both knees in. That's totally up to you, whatever feels more appropriate right now. All right. Okay, great. So now we're basically gonna put all the different building blocks together for our peak pose of the day. So please, for this one, sit up again, and I would say if you're really a runner, you might want to sit up on something. So let me demo it first. Let's get a bolster or so, and we have two options. So either you bring your legs out wide here and fully straight, or the alternative, it changes the effect slightly. You can also take a bend here, and then from here we're going to be folding forward. So it's totally up to you which variation you want to practice. Both are equally fine. I would assume that most of you will go for the bend version. It focuses a bit more on the hips than the back line, the hamstrings, but both is fine. Exactly. Now go ahead and inhale your arms up. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Perfect. And then from here, just take an exhalation and begin to fold forward. Keep your spine as straight as possible. Keep the chest open. And then let's take a few rounds of breath here, and let's use those exhalations to fold in further, and use the inhalations to lift through the front body. So what does that look like? This is actually a movement of just lifting the chest. This will straighten the spine, and then from there you can fold further. And if you're fairly tight in your back line, this forward fold here will be something around 5 degrees, but it's totally fine. It is still a forward fold. You don't have to bring your chest all the way down to the floor. Let's do 3 more rounds of breath. Okay, and then inhale to slowly lean back again, and exhale, lower your hands down. Perfect. And now if you're sitting up on something, if it's a bolster like the one we have here, just go ahead and press your palms into the bolster. So bring your hands down here. And then just sit tall and upright, stretch your legs out, maybe bring them together, bring the feet together. Let's do a Dandasana here. So for a few rounds of breath, just sit tall and upright. Basically an engagement of the entire body, chest lifts, quads engaged, flex your feet, bring the toes to the shins. All right, perfect. And then relax again. Good. Okay, and then transition onto your back, please. So even though this was a fairly, or is a fairly short class, we did a bit of forward folding, so we want to counter this again. On a physical level, because we want to bring the spine back to neutral, but also on an energetic level, forward folds are very grounding and calming, and most likely we'll have some other plans for today, so I don't want to get you too drowsy and sleepy. So we have a few rounds of dynamic bridge here. We're not going to hold it statically, just a few rounds dynamically. So please go ahead and take a bend in your knees. Plant your feet, have the heels close enough to your sit bones so you can touch them with the fingertips. All right, and then let's do the first round arm movement only before we add in the hips. And so please go ahead and take an exhale here, draw the navel back. And then inhale, sweep the arms up and over the head. Let's just, all right, we do the hips already. Okay, and then exhale, lower the arms down again and roll your spine back down onto the mat. Perfect, so fairly simple movement, not a big back bend. And inhale again, bring the arms up and over, lift your hips. And exhale to lower down. Okay, let's do 3 more of those. Inhale, come up. And try to keep your thighs parallel. So if you're super tight in your quads as well, when the hips come up, many times the knees open up as well. So keep the knees together, thighs parallel. Go ahead and exhale, lower down. All right, 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. And the last one. Lift the hips, perfect, and exhale, lower down. All right. And then let's take a few rounds of breath here before we set ourselves up for Shavasana. If you want, you can bring the feet to the outer edges of the mat. Out here. Bring the feet out and now drop the knees together. Okay. All right. And then please go ahead and set yourself up for our final relaxation. Stretch the legs out. Please don't have any props underneath the spine. We need a straight spine to integrate and assimilate the work that we've done. But if you want, you can bring a bolster or a folded blanket underneath your knees. You want the bolster? All right. And then just have your arms by your sides. Flip the palms up. Close the eyes and go ahead and relax. Let go of all the tension in your body. Your legs totally relaxed. Allow your legs to externally rotate. Most likely your feet will fall open to the sides like a book. And also release any tension you might still be holding around the hips, the lower back, the glutes. You might feel your pelvis opening up or melting into the mat. Now see or sense your inner organs dropping towards the back body. Relax your shoulders down. And then soften your face. Feel your forehead broadening. And if your tongue is still touching the roof of your mouth, even relax your tongue down. And then for the next few moments, bring your attention back to your abdominal breath. Bring the attention back to the movement of the navel, the lifting or raising up of the navel as you inhale, and the dropping or falling towards the spine, the back body as you exhale. And come to your last conscious in-breath, followed by a long and deep exhalation. Now sense your body getting heavier, gravity pulling the body not only into the mat, but actually down towards the center of the planet. All right, and then slowly begin to remember your breath again. Take a deep inhalation to return into the body. And then bring a little bit of awareness back into your hands, maybe by running your thumbs over the tips of the other 8 fingers. And then bring some awareness into your feet by wiggling the toes. And then move your hands, move your feet. If you feel like it, you can gently rock your head from side to side. Maybe you want to bring your arms overhead to give yourself a full body stretch. And then from here, just bring your knees into your chest again and then roll off to one side and come into a fetal position. Just roll over. All right. And take another few moments here to slowly transition and adjust, to wake up again. And then whenever you're ready, please begin to make your way up into a tall and upright seat, preferably on a prop. Sit up on a bolster or a block, anything to elevate your hips. All right, like I mentioned in the short introduction, we're not going to do a specific pranayama. We already did quite a bit of structured breathing throughout the class, so we're going to move straight into a meditation on the breath. Why do we do that? It's fairly simple. So if you're new to meditation, that is a nice way to practice. And you actually always have the breath with you, so you don't need anything extra. So for this, please sit tall and upright. Bring your palms onto your knees, or if you prefer, bring both of the hands in your lap, whatever is more comfortable. And then lift your chest, relax your shoulders down, close your eyes, and soften your face. And then bring your attention to your natural breath. Just watch your breath flow, air moving in and out of your nostrils. So remember, this is not a pranayama technique. So there's no need to actively shape your breath. Just let it flow naturally and observe it. When we meditate on the breath, we could meditate on the tip of the nose or the nostrils. We could also use the movement of the navel. But today we're gonna meditate on this point where the breath, the air, meets the sinus passage and the throat. So the point where basically the breath or the air begins to descend down into the throat. So find that point and then follow the breath, follow your inhalations as they move along the sinus passage all the way to the back of the throat and then softly descending downwards. Just for the next few moments, observe your breath. Follow the movement of the air along the sinus passage and down into the throat. Whenever your mind drifts off, bring it back to your breath. Begin to notice now that the breath is a perfect mirror for the mind. So over time, most likely, your breath will become lighter and lighter. And at the same time, your mind will become more calm and more stable. And as your breath becomes increasingly shallow, you might be noticing involuntary breath retentions after your exhale. Just a moment or maybe two of complete stillness and peace, without any urge to inhale again. Almost as if everything ceases. Ancient scriptures tell us that this gap between exhalation and inhalation is actually a window to perceive the light of our soul. Over time, you might notice that there's barely any need to breathe. You're entirely held by and sustained by the light of your soul. If you would like to stay in meditation for a little bit longer, feel free to do so. Otherwise, please begin to deepen your breath again. And then join your palms in front of your chest. Bow your head into the heart. And in your own way, please honor your practice. Namaste.